Hey guys, thank you for joining us. I'm joined by the one and only Hustle Malone. How you doing, man?
What's happening? Yeah, doing good, thanks, man. You?
Rocking and rolling, mate. Absolutely pleasure to have you on. How's your day going as well? This Easter Sunday.
It's all right. Some free time. It's like a gift and a curse. I constantly trying to make myself more busy, and then I'm like, oh man, now I want 5 minutes off. So here I am.
Yeah. Oh no, mate. Yeah, well, apparently we're going to get snow tomorrow, our way, and so yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's bright blue sunshine at the minute, but then there's potential sleet and snow tomorrow. So I don't
I'm
know what the
over
hell.
it. I'm over it. I'm over snow. I'm done. It was cool when I was a kid, but I was driving from here to Peckham during the snow for the last progress tapings,
Yeah.
and it felt like I would have got there faster, like on dogs and sled.
Tell me about it, man. I hate the snow. I hate driving in the snow. I'm like you. I'm over it. I'm 37. I don't need the snow anymore. It can go away. It really can. The good thing is, though, is I've got 2 weeks off work, so I don't have to go out in it. That's the bonus. Um, but I said to you before we hit record, obviously, I've been watching some of your promo videos again because I'm honestly, dude, I'm not just saying it. I'm in awe of the promo work you do. People always say to me, who's your favorite promo guy? And I always say the ones that make me believe. Like I'm a big Mick Foley guy. I think when Mick Foley speaks, you believe every word he says, and I get that same vibe with you. It's real. I feel like it's no gimmick. It's you turned up. Is that the way it is?
I appreciate that, man. To an aspect, yes. So I've got a podcast as well, the
Yeah.
Hustle Malone Show Day podcast, and I sit down with colleagues and stuff, and mine can sometimes get close to therapy, right?
Yeah.
Like we delve into the really real stuff, like the real deep stuff, and like it was only when I was talking with friend of your show, Cara Noir.
Ah,
I
yes.
I was talking with him, and he was saying how Cara Noir represents some of the trauma and stuff
Yeah.
in his life. And it's only when I was thinking about it, this incarnation of the character that I'm in now, the protagonist, the main character of wrestling, it very much comes from, when I was younger in life and I would fall into the background,
Yeah.
when you're the kid in class, you make that joke and nobody laughs, and then a popular kid makes the same joke and
And
everybody
everyone,
laughs.
yeah.
You're like, screw that guy.
Oh yeah.
Like that belief almost that I am the main character of the Truman Show. The cameras have to be on me. This is,
Yeah.
this is all just character work around me. So yeah, I guess it's turned up to 11, but I also say and do some naughty things that I very much hope isn't in my character repertoire.
Nah, I don't do it. One of my favourite ones as well is the cracked crowns and broken scepters. I must have watched it about 3 times today just alone because it's just that good. I mean, how much work goes into doing them as well? Do you produce them on your own? Is that all you?
So they're all me. I'll occasionally, I don't know, once a blue moon, if I want some camera movement, I'll ask my supportive girlfriend Asia to hold the camera or something. But yeah, it's all me. I come from a videography background. You can see here I'm in front of my green screen,
Yeah, man.
planning some stuff at the minute. But it depends. Some of them I know. So like, let's take an average professional wrestler, right? Every wrestler has a reason why they win. Great
Yes.
Khali wins matches because he is big. Rey
Yeah.
Mysterio wins because he is fast. Heel Edge wins because he's clever. When it comes to a promo, some of them are good because they have cool special effects. Some of them are cool because I spent 40 quid on wigs. Some of them like that cracked crowns and broken scepters one done about RJ Singh. His catchphrase,
Yeah.
Singh is king. That one is more down to I'm a big fan of battle rap, and I'm a
Yeah.
big fan of like word schemes. All right, King. What else do we have? We have Lion King. We have Night King. We have Stephen King.
Martin
And
Luther King.
exact. I
There we
could have
go.
gone for days. Like for ones like that, I'll sit and I'll write 50 of them, and then I'll be like, right, well, what works and how can we go from there? So it's completely different in all of them.
Yeah, and just to touch on the wigs as well, by the way, you was rocking the Dusty Rhodes look in the latest one. That looked pretty cool, man. Yeah, and I like the green. I could do with a green screen myself. I've just got a Sons of Anarchy canvas behind me, which I don't know if it looks good or not. I'd rather get a green screen like yourself. But one of the guys you mentioned, obviously, we spoke to Cara, to Tom, and I know he's in the video you posted, not a wish list, a hit list. I mean, from a selfish standpoint, that's a mouth-watering prospect for me. Is that someone on your list to get in the ring with?
He was one of the few people on my list who I have wrestled before at a very pivotal point in my career, and I want more. It's kind of like when they say after you've had caviar, it's kind of hard to go back to cheeseburgers.
Yeah.
And I wrestled him when I was kind of out of my depth. I was kind of rising up the UK scene faster than I perhaps should have, kind of talking myself into naughty situations. And I was the champion of Hope Wrestling, and he was the champion of Leicester Championship Wrestling. The companies were unifying, and it was me and him in a no DQ match to unify the companies together. And it kind of felt like the closest that I'd flown to the sun at the time.
Yeah.
And since then, I've, become more experienced. I've wrestled a lot more places. I've done a lot more things. And it's like, okay, well, you had how can I put this? You had the jump on the rookie last time, but I ain't no rookie anymore.
Hell yeah, man. Well, and I mean, obviously we'll talk progress in a bit, 'cause I know you're behind the booth at the minute, but I mean, that is one match I would love to see, and he's got that Progress World title now as well, which I personally think would look very nice over your shoulder.
I say nothing.
But I mean, speaking of the British scene, obviously, Cara as well. I mean, is Cara someone you've seen as leading the way at the moment?
Oh, yeah, but that's not just in a wrestling aspect. Let's be honest, I'm a characters wrestler. I'm a guy who likes the personality, and I have all the respect in the world for the performers who are, how can I call them? My name's Johnny Black Trunks. I wear black trunks.
Yeah.
All the respect in the world. You work very hard. You do what you do, but it ain't me. It ain't me. And I'm here, like you said. I want to make people believe.
Yeah.
And it's funny, in that match with Cara Noir, I had a fan come up to me afterwards and he said, the only 2 times as a fan that I've ever forgotten that I'm watching something scripted was the moment you won the title and the moment you lost it. And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to convince you that you're watching Breaking Bad and not, in a room with a bar and intervals in 15 minutes. Yeah. I want to make you forget that part.
No, I totally do. Like, see, I believe. I mean, just from the promos alone, I'm like, this guy is just, he's real. I'm believing everything he's saying to me, and I know he can kick your ass. And it's coming through the screen to me, man. I mean, I feel that as well. I mean, and obviously, I'm just touching as well. You mentioned Hope. I mean, I'm in Yorkshire. I'm a Hull guy. I've been to a few Hope shows, obviously in Mansfield. What was that experience like, obviously, working for Hope? Because she was a bit of a mainstay.
Indeed, yeah. Well, it came about in such a weird way. I used to live in Leighton Buzzard, this small town in Bedfordshire nobody really knows. And I used to go to a bar called like the Top Bell or something like that, that used to have wrestling pay-per-view lock-ins. So, the bar would close at midnight and everyone would come in and watch WrestleMania. And then they'd release you to stumble home at 4 a.m. And the barman was this guy with like crazy neon colored hair and nose rings and stuff like that. And his name was Harvey Dale, the promoter of Hope Wrestling. And this was before his wrestling life. And I just used to know him as the guy. I remember one night, can I swear on this?
Swear all you want, mate.
Happy days. He went, toilets are this way. Last food order has to be in at 2:30. And if Shawn Michaels loses to The Undertaker, you can all fuck off home. I was like, right, okay. And then he kind of disappeared out of my life. And years later, I got a message that said, hey, I've seen your filming stuff as a videographer. I've seen you filming stuff on Facebook. Can you come and film for my indie show? And I was like, yeah, you've got an indie show? And I was the cameraman on Hope chapter 8 and chapter 10 or something like that, with Jack Jester and Grado and Dave Mastiff and Ryan Smile and Chris Travis and all sorts. And then when I started training, the training school that I was training at kind of became affiliated with Hope, and the circles came back together again. So I was very privileged to wrestle so many big names at Hope, and definitely a massive curving of my career thanks to it. Somewhere I look forward to being back again.
Yeah, man. I mean, I look forward to going there again as well. It's not a far drive for me, and I know what you mean. I had the pleasure of meeting Too Cool when they performed there. Um, I got a picture though because they wrestled. I'm really good friends with Matt Myers,
Mm.
and they wrestled Myers in that match. Like I say, yeah, it was a great experience. I mean, you mentioned characters as well and personalities and stuff. What's it like, obviously, being around and working with Grado? I know you mentioned him.
Um, I
Is
remember.
that really him?
Yes, essentially yes. I remember at this point in wrestling, I don't really have a wrestling career. I'm just a cameraman at this point. At this point, I'm still very daunted by wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm in the venue, and I wanted to go up and I say something to Jack Jester because I had just seen the ICW, the BBC documentary.
Yeah.
And I want to go and say something to him. And at this point, he's just threatened a kid with a corkscrew. He's got blood on his head. He's sweaty. He's outside having a cigarette. And I'm like, I'll chat to him later. Don't worry about it. I'll chat to him later. Leave it be. And Harvey Dale goes, can you go and film a promo with Grado back there? And I can't tell you what the promo was meant to be about, but he ended up talking about how he went over the road to Marks and Spencer's and he got a prawn sandwich and the bread's stodgier in England than it is. And then he just, like, he went off into this little tangent and then he just went, "It's you, sir," and then he walked off and I was like, are we good? Are we good to continue? All right, I guess that's it then. But yeah, that's what it's all about, man. Being able to, like, on the subject of Grado and characters like Grado, very early on in my career, I had a seminar with Madman Manson.
Oh yeah, I remember Madman Manson.
And guy was so funny and thought outside the box in such a great way. And I remember him saying he got to a point in his career where people trusted him and they knew what he was capable of. So that when you look on a card, instead of, Madman Manson versus Hustle Malone, 10 minutes, they would just go Madman Manson and Hustle Malone, 10 minutes, do what you want. And Manson would decide whether they had a match or whether they did a singing contest or they would do the limbo or they would do hide and seek. And it was like, as long as you're paying for these people and they do entertain you in that 10-minute window, what's the problem?
Yeah, totally agree, man. Yeah, I mean, the first time I think I went to Preston City Wrestling, I left the show. Madman Manson was the guy who left an impression on me. He was just so good. But yeah, I've always wondered about Grado because he just looks like so much fun. You're like, is that, I wonder if he's like that away from the ring. And yeah, obviously he is. But obviously we've got to talk progress as well. I mean, how did that come about? I mean, transitioning to obviously commentating, and are you enjoying doing that?
I'm loving it. It's you've got to think, in the middle of a pandemic when there is no wrestling going on, being paid to have the closest seat in the house and watch the best wrestling in the world is a bit of a dream.
Right.
It's kind of great. So I was on Twitter during the summer, and Progress put out a statement of all their new safeguarding guidelines and stuff like that. And at the bottom it said, we will be accepting a couple of, I guess, media opportunities, a couple of interviews. Yeah. So I was like, yeah, why not? I'm podcasting, I'm interviewing people. Why not? What's the harm? So I interviewed Lucy from Progress, and I said to her before the pod, I was like, I'm going to hold your feet to the fire on some of the harder ones, and I'm going to give you credit on the good stuff too. I want it to be fair. I want people who haven't seen the statement can come and listen to this and get the deets. So I interviewed Lucy. Then the next day, I get a message from her and said, hey, the main team at Progress want to have a chat as well. And in my head, I'm like, I'm not going to do the same podcast 2 days in a row. Like, how boring is that? But I got a call from the team at Progress, and they essentially said, hey, so another bit of side backstory, I guess, to this is for the last year or so, I've been doing kind of online rehab, physio, strength training with Cara Noir.
Yeah.
And, I tore my rotator cuff at the end of 2019, and I'd used the first few months of the year to kind of get my shoulder back, and I was all good and I was ready to go. And then it was like, do you want to just keep learning cool stuff? And it was like, yes, of course I do. So I got this call from Progress, and they went, thanks very much for the interview. You were fair and you asked good questions and stuff. We've had a tip off from Cara. Would you be interested in this role? And I said to him, look, put my balls on the table here. I want to wrestle in your ring. I want to wrestle them. I want to wrestle for Progress. I've always wanted to wrestle for Progress. I'm not gonna like switch on you at the last minute and be like, aha. I'm saying it outright. I want to do that, but at the same time, in life, we one step our way to our goals. You don't really leap to our goals. You one step and you make it there. So I was like, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And it's definitely been a learning curve. It's been very interesting because normally on a show, like, I've promoted shows in the past and I've said to commentators, you don't have to talk constantly. You don't have to be talking every single second because the crowd are making noise and they're doing cool chants and people are shouting at each other in the ring and that's good and stuff. But here, if we're not making noise and the wrestlers aren't making any noise, then it's literally silence. So it's very, very strange. But the more it's gone on and the more great wrestling and the opportunity to talk to wrestlers and say, like, what are you trying to get over today? Tell me more about the depths of your character. Tell me things that I wouldn't know if I was just watching. That's been real fun. So, having a great time.
Yeah, we've loved watching it do as well. And like you said, honestly, you're still going to get back in the ring, aren't you? Because, I spoke to Roy Johnson a couple of weeks ago, and Roy made it very abundantly clear, I'm not retired. And he told me that about 20 times, I'm not retired. But same with you, I'm just loving what you're doing, and with Charles. What's it like working with Charles Crowley? Well, because we spoke to Charles as well a few weeks ago, and he seems so much fun.
Oh, it's the best time. It feels like, typically in a commentary team, you get the play-by-play and the color commentator, and the play-by-play is Mr. Straight-Laced, and the color commentator adds a bit more character to it. I think our archetype is just two naughty boys. Two naughty boys, and I'm sure at some point we'll come out with merch that says world's toughest commentary team or something like that. I reckon we could beat any commentary team, but with the exception of any team that Beth Phoenix is on, because she's hard. I think depends on who she's with. If it's like her and Michael Cole, I reckon we might sneak it. But if it's like her and Corey Graves, we're done. But yeah, we're having a great time, and honestly, like, I'm 100% going to use that Roy Johnson retired thing on commentary at some point, because just making jokes about. I don't know if you heard it on the third show that came out, whatever number it was. We spent the whole night leading up and saying, if there's time tonight, we're going to do the Roy Johnson under 35s cross-dimensional East Bedfordshire limbo contest. That's coming up later tonight. And then just before the main event, we went, right, if this match goes 2.5 minutes, we've got time for the limbo contest. Cara Noir does his entrance. Well, never mind. Oh, well. It's been good.
Yeah. Roy was so much fun, but yeah, he was very adamant, I'm not retired. It was just such a fun guy. But again, another guy, obviously there's you, Charles, and what's he getting to, like working with Roy as well, because he's doing a great job hosting.
He's doing a wicked job, and I think people underestimate how hard of a job he has, because everybody else who has done ring announcing, like, for like WWE or NXT or anywhere else, anyone else who's done ring announcing anywhere else in the world, your best job is to not be noticed, I guess, to just kind of here's the match, bye. But Progress has this bar of you have to be entertaining, but you can't really do stand-up comedy if there's no crowd. So I truly believe he's got the hardest job, and but he's worked so hard and he's done really good at it. It is a real nice, fun atmosphere. How we can, like, even between matches, you know, when we right, break for 2 minutes, we're standing around. Right, here's an exclusive for you. Here's an awful, hilarious exclusive for you.
Go on
then. So we tape these shows over a couple of days, right? So we might do like 4 shows in 4 days or something like that, and after 4 days of, oh my God, your voice starts to go, right? The 3 of us, by the 4th day, we're like, we're feeling it now, right? Behind every desk, I have like an 8-pack of Pepsi Max Cherry, right? Bottles of water flying around, all sorts, right? And Roy Johnson offered me a throat sweet that I'm not familiar with. We've all had soothers, right? We've all had a soother.
Yeah.
He walked up to me, just looked me dead in the eyes and went, Hustle, do you want a throaty? And I was like, sorry, Roy? And he just pulled out this thing, and it's called throaties, the little throat sweets. And I was like, Charles, can we legally say on commentary that Roy Johnson offered me a throaty during the commercial break? I don't know if we can, but it happened.
Oh, dude, I love it, honestly. Yeah, it was just so much fun when we had him on as well. But I've just thought as well, obviously, you mentioned, Beth Phoenix. She's NXT, so, I mean, you'd probably have to go against her and Stu Bennett. I mean...
Oh, no chance. No chance. No, mate, no chance. That's a damn good commentary team. That's a pretty tough
yeah, I think that might be the toughest commentary team out there. You know, it's...
World's second toughest commentary team. I'll take it.
Well, there's a T-shirt. I mean,
yeah.
That's a T-shirt straight away, man. But sticking with Progress as well, I mean, I've been loving it as well, obviously, with, like, a lot of the younger guys coming through, like Big Guns Joan, Ethan Allen, Luke Jacobs. What's it like being for you to watch these guys, obviously, coming through?
Well, this is the thing. I've wrestled probably 90% of the talent on this show. Most of them at Hope, actually. So your Ethan Allens, your Big Guns Joes and stuff like that. And really, I hope it tells people that when the world comes back to normal, go and see your local promotion. Because it's very, very easy to be like, wrestling's dead. Everyone's been signed. Wrestling's dead now. No one left. Who's the big stars left? But the truth is, it's very easy to think that if you're only watching the one or two big promotions, right?
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
You've seen all the big people go. If you're watching everywhere else, then you know who is being given 25 minutes in a main event down the road, right? Big Guns Joe is a champion in a bunch of promotions. The Young Guns champions in other promotions. Yeah. If you turn on and you only watch Progress and you've never seen them before, it's a little bit like when somebody debuts in WWE, right? Ricochet turns up and you're like, who's this guy? Well, his wrestling record isn't 0-0. This isn't his debut. He's been doing it for a very long time. And in the same vein, Ethan Allen has won championships everywhere. Warren Banks, all these guys, you know what I mean? They've been killing it everywhere else. Yep. So I hope it opens your mind to, don't get me wrong, come to Progress. Don't get me wrong, come down to the ballroom, come see a wicked show, wicked. But also, have a look on Google, have a look on Facebook, see where he's in half an hour. I guarantee they'll probably be somewhere.
No, I agree with you. I mean, we're very fortunate in Hull. We've got our own promotion. We've got NGW, New Generation Wrestling.
Yeah.
So I'm a 15-minute drive away from where they normally do the shows. So totally agree with you. And, you know, take another hour's drive and I'm in Leeds and these companies in Leeds, Hope in Mansfield. So I'm totally with you. The British wrestling scene is alive and well as far as I'm concerned.
And people do it all the time with like music or football. They're like, oh, I remember that footballer when he was 16 and he was on the youth team. Or I remember Ed Sheeran when he had like 1,000 Spotify listeners. It's like, it's the same with wrestling. Do you know how cool it is to be like, to see a guy as nobody? I filmed Warren Banks when I was a cameraman, right? Then trained alongside him. And now we're both on Progress together.
Yeah.
You can have that feeling if you go to your local show and 1 minute you're seeing them there and the next minute they're on the network.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, the first time I saw Kip Sabian was in Hull at NGW, you know, and now he's on Dynamite every week. So
this is it. And no one wants the first time they see somebody to be like, oh, they just won WrestleMania.
Yeah. Nah, I honestly, I totally agree with you. There's something special about that just going to a local show, an independent show. There's a different atmosphere. It's a special vibe. I miss it so much. I'm so ready to get back to shows when they'll let us do it. You know, it's you know, like I say with Progress, last Progress show I went to was Sheffield in 2019. So you know, I'm ready, dude. I'm ready for the shows to come back. And I know you've got there's obviously on the networks this Saturday. There's a show coming up, Progress.
Ooh, yes, this coming Saturday. When's this going out?
It'll be before Saturday.
Gangster. Yeah, this Saturday on the network. What's on it? Cara Noir against Kid Lycos. That would be cool.
Yes, and I think there's Kid Lycos 2 against Jordan Bricks has been mentioned.
I'm gonna full on put cards on the table. This show has already been taped, obviously, and it was amazing. And Jordan Breaks is amazing and a lovely man. And it was honestly the first time I've seen Jordan Breaks wrestle. And he blew me away.
Yeah.
And the main event is absolutely next level bonkers. It was like an anime.
I mean, I can't wait for Saturday, dude. But Jordan Breaks, I'm glad you mentioned him as well. Cara even mentioned him when we spoke to him on Monday. Somebody he really wants to work with. I saw Jordan first WrestleGate in Nottingham a couple of years ago, and he just blew me away because I'm a big fan of the old school, you know, the technical. and my eyes didn't leave the ring. I was just focused. I forget who he was against. But yeah, Jordan Breaks is a kid that I want to see a lot more of, definitely.
Yeah, he's wicked, and credit where it's due as well, right? Like Lycos 2, obviously you being from the Midlands and stuff. Is that the Midlands? Is that the Midlands? I guess Yorkshire. Does Yorkshire count as the Midlands? My geography's bad, man.
My geography's shit as well, dude, but it's not. No, Yorkshire and Midlands are different.
Okay, the middle of the country compared to Scotland. Never mind. But you've seen Lycos 2.
Yes.
In his older form, shall we say, his previous identity. And the talent's ridiculous. You think, how much can they do now? How much can they do within the next 2 years? Sky's the limit.
Yeah. No, I totally agree. Yeah, and I've seen him in his previous incarnation a number of times. And
used to be, for anyone who doesn't know, he used to be Goldberg.
Yes, he did. Yeah. And it was very impressive. But he's, bright future, man, bright future. Oh, I remember those Goldberg matches. Yes, he was a star. But,
I'm blocked by Goldberg on Twitter.
Yeah.
I can't remember why I did it. I don't know why I did it, but one day I tweeted him and I said, yo, I know for a fact that you have a goatee implant. Like it was fake. And I was like, where'd you get your goatee implant? And then I tweeted in all caps. I screenshotted this and I kept it. I tweeted him, I'm going to fight you and then listen to Drake. So that was just an outlook of what my day looked like. And now I'm blocked. And I remember I only found out I was blocked like years later when Kevin Owens kept tweeting and it all said like, this information is unavailable. Yeah, I was like, what the hell? And then I saw it was Goldberg tweeting him. So hopefully now that I'm on the network and we're semi-colleagues, hopefully tensions can be relieved.
This is it. I mean, Callum, actually, who I do ringsiders with, Callum's blocked by Hulk Hogan. And Callum has no idea why. No idea why. He woke up one day and he was blocked. He'd never tweeted him, nothing. It was just blocked. It was almost like Hogan woke up one day, closed his eyes and scrolled through his followers and said, right, you're blocked today. Literally no idea. Still to this day. Doesn't know why Hogan's blocked him.
I quite like that. It puts a bit of mystery into the world.
It does. It's just a mystery, man. But before we wrap it up as well, I mean, you mentioned, I've got to ask you, what's it like as well? I mean, you're on the WWE Network. That must be a big thrill for you.
Mental. I'm a big believer in you. Like I said earlier, you one step your way to success, and wrestling is a constant competition of like. Some people come into wrestling and they're like, I'm going to be WWE champion at WrestleMania, and other people like myself come in and go, do you know what? One match would be cool. And you have one match and you're like, well, winning a title one day would be cool, and then you do that, and then it just readjusts every time. And now, being on the network, like my little brother's got the network. He turned it on and watched my show the other day, like, and that was wicked. And then it just bit by bits it. Do you know what I mean? So now it's that, and in my head I'm like, right, well, you know, maybe NXT people listen to it. Maybe maybe Nigel McGuinness listens to my commentary. That would be cool. I'm a big Nige fan. But then it's like, okay, well now my aim, and like I said, cards on the table, my aim is to be in that ring. I'm very grateful that my first match in over a year isn't in the deep end on the WWE Network, because that's terrifying. And the other thing as well is I've lost about 50 pounds since the last time I wrestled before the pandemic. Man. So I don't know how my body works, man. I feel like I'm going to do like a sleep and leap and I'm just going to go through the roof. So I want to figure that out. And then, bit by bit. So very exciting times.
Excellent, dude. Well, before I let you go, I mean, do you want to let everyone know where they can find you? Anything you want to promote and plug?
Yes, please. You can find me on every social media at Malone Hustle. You can find my podcast, the Show Day podcast, anywhere you pretty much get podcasts. How many weird podcast apps are they, by the way? Right? Like, I've gotten tweets that be like, your podcast is on Blueberry, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, man. Just get a normal app. It's
on every. Yeah, I'm with you on there. Callum's like, I've uploaded it to this and this and this. I'm like, how many is there? Yeah, I'm with you on that one, man. Yeah.
You just put it on your RSS feed and it just goes everywhere. But people are like, oh, I listened to you on Herbury, and I'm like, that's not. Don't lie. You got it on iTunes like a normal human do. Progress is on the WWE Network. Give it a go. Just give it a try. See some cool people. See some storylines develop. And hear me and Crowley make fun of Roy Johnson 3 to 8 times a show.
Perfect, dude. And I do expect those t-shirts of you and Charles. I'm keeping an eye out for those. I really am. But I can't thank you enough, dude. Honestly, I meant everything I said, dude. I believe everything you do, and it's an absolute pleasure. I'd love to get you back on in the future and chat some more. If that's cool with you, dude, we'll sort something out.
Definitely. Much appreciated, brother.
Excellent, man. Well, you take care. Hustle Malone, thank you very much.
Dude, man. Peace.